John, welcome to the Y Factor podcast. This is John Foremon. You're very welcome.
Thank you for having me. It's very nice to be here. Thank you.
It's been a while, hasn't it? And we've had a few tech problems getting set up, but here we are. We're now sorted. But by way of background, John is formidable. He's extremely formidable. He is the general manager of EpicPrint and founder of Cupround. He's probably, I would say, one of the most creative and resourceful general managers I've ever come across. And we've worked on numerous projects over the years, haven't we?
We have, yes.
And
that's very kind of you to say. Thank you very much.
It's true. I mean, one example, which I'm going to show to the camera, is you and your team put together these fantastic on-screen, physically printed on some wonderful material supplied by Cropper and GF Smith. These on-screen mute cards or message cards, which you can see that, where you can literally, you're on mute. Very, very good. And I love stuff like that. And that was done in conjunction with Two Sides and the Love Paper campaign. So that was really good. But John's, a bit of background about John. He's highly educated. He went to Loughborough University.
That's correct, yes.
Where you did a degree in management.
Yes.
Yeah. And where did you school out of interest?
Stratford-upon-Avon.
So you're a Shropshire boy?
Warwickshire. Yes. Stratford was it was a very nice place to live. They made you do a lot of Shakespeare, of course.
Of course.
But no.
Where art thou?
Well, absolutely. But I mean, Stratford was a very nice place to grow up as a teenager. Before that was in Birmingham.
Oh, were you?
I was, yes. So you might still see a little bit of a Brummy twang come out now and again.
Yeah.
Even though I've been in Dorset now for 30 odd years, over 30 years, you'll still see a little bit of the twang come out, especially if I talk to my relatives who are still in the Midlands.
So what took you to Dorchester?
The sea, really.
Okay.
Came down to Weymouth with a friend years ago, and we liked it and we decided to stay.
Beautiful part of the world. I'm very envious.
Absolutely.
And as I was telling you earlier, one of my first customers, Hall and Woodhouse Brewery, just down the road from you. I won't go into the grim detail of that story because it's quite saucy. But anyway, well, look, John, I've prepared a series of questions for you, which you have had sight of. So let's kick off, shall we? So tell me, John, what or who inspires you and has had the biggest influence on your life today?
Well, I've got to say it's got to be, and she'll kill me for this, it's got to be my wife.
Oh! What's your wife's name?
Sarah. So me and Sarah have been together a very long time. And what inspires me about Sarah is really is the way she approaches things. She dots the I's, crosses the T's. If she's going to do something, she does it 100%.
Gosh, she sounds like my wife.
And I like to wind her up by not doing something fully, just to see how she'll react. So
tell me this, and we haven't planned this, but what's the secret to your successful marriage?
That's a very good one. Sarah works for the NHS, and for about 10 years, she worked bank shift. So she worked nights, and I worked through the day. So we were ships that passed. So if you can get through those 10 years where you hardly see each other, you can get through anything, I think. But no, she's very supportive, and I like the way she does things, and she keeps me on the straight and narrow. So
you need keeping on the straight and narrow, do you?
Maybe.
So what do you actually do at Epic and Cupround? Do you want to just do a bit of background as to what you actually do?
So currently general manager at Epic. I've been there 31 years.
Blimey.
So I started off in post press, running folders and guillotines, stitching lines, that type of thing. And I've been very fortunate at Epic to be able to go around all the different departments and spend quite a few years in the different departments to gain experience. So I went from post press to trainee printer. So I was a number 2 printer for years, and then was able to go onto the machines myself. And we've had Millers and Mitsubishis and Heidelberg GTOs and all sorts. So that's been a very good learning curve. But then also working in the office, account management, sales.
Okay.
So yeah, I've had a real sort of spread and depth of work there, which has made it interesting. I think if you're stuck in one channel for a very long time, you can get frustrated and maybe a little bit fed up with it. But to be able to move around the company and spend quite a bit of time in each role has really given a very good background, I think.
So that's obviously Mark Downey's giving you that support and freedom to do that. Yeah.
Yes. It was also Mark supporting myself and another colleague to attend Loughborough. We went as senior students, and it was great because it was £1 a pint. Loughborough's great.
£1 a pint, really?
But that was the course was for postgraduate. It was run by the BPIF, and it gave us a very good understanding of management. So that was supported by Mark and Epic, and it was a great opportunity.
Tell us about Cupround. How did that all come about?
Well, we've been working with single-use cups for quite a few years. We started in about 2018. And the idea was really, how do we transform that into that?
Funny you should show that, because that is how you and I met. That Costa notebook is how we met.
It was.
Ollie Roseveare from Costa, who presented at a Coca-Cola event, and he very kindly gave me one of your notebooks, and that's how I got in contact with you. Thanks, Oliver. Or Ollie.
Ollie's still a client of ours. He's with another company at the moment. But yeah, he's still a very valued customer. So yeah, thank you, Ollie. That was great. So what we found, I was first introduced to it by GF Smith, and they had a range called Extract, which was, I think it was about 24% cups in their substrate, and the rest was made up with virgin fiber and that type of thing. And we liked Extract, and we started working with it, and I was able to produce some notebooks for Julia Bradbury, bit of name drop in there.
Nice.
And it really gave us a little bit of exposure. And what we were able to do was produce notebooks directly for coffee brands. So it was a great circular story to be able to take the substrate, print it, turn it into notebooks, and sell it back to Costa Coffee. And they loved the idea as well. McDonald's had some from us as well, and it was a very good start. But it wasn't just the coffee companies that were interested in this substrate. We had banking sector; they were interested in it as well, and also later on we've developed packaging, and so we'll be taking something like a 320-gram board, 350-gram board, and converting that. And one thing I really enjoy is talking to customers and trying to get their existing packaging shifted over onto recycled materials, whether it's coffee cup or not. But so yeah, we've been working, back to your original question, we've been working with coffee substrate or single-use cup substrate for quite a few years. Of course, that was halted by COVID, where everything dropped off a cliff. And during COVID, Epic took the opportunity to rebrand what we was terming coffee notes. And now that's gone online, direct to customer. And that's the shop's called Coffee Notes. But also we like working business to business and just trying to get people onto recycled materials, different materials, away from the gloss and the silks and all that type of thing, and make it a little bit more interesting for them.
Very good. Very good. Well, look, I think it's a very worthwhile project, and I wish you huge success with it. So what's the weirdest and most unexpected challenge you've ever had to deal with in your working life?
The easy one is to say COVID, isn't it? But that was weird, and it was devastating for a lot of people. So I'm going to sidestep that one because everybody had the same issues, I think.
Yeah.
But the weirdest ones is Epic. We tried to use lots of different materials, and we'd like to do a lot of testing for people. And there was one particular substrate for a client who I won't mention. But the substrate was 100% recycled, uncoated. And when we tested it for the client, it totally delaminated, and all the fibers went up the printing tray. And it was a real mess. But it was interesting that we've been able to help develop that further down the line. But I just remember that day being horrible. And the printer looking at me saying, "What are you giving me to test? This is horrendous." But you've got to try these things. It's a learning curve.
If you don't experiment,
no,
what do they say? There's no such thing as a failure. It's just another learning opportunity.
Oh.
So have you ever made a decision that went against the grain, but you felt was right in your gut? And what happened?
I think you've got to get and this is something we say at work quite a lot. You've got to get in front of the problem. So if there was something that we thought was problematic, we'd talk about it first. We're very consultative, with our colleagues, and we'll talk about a problem or an issue or the best way of how going about it. So I'm going to say no, that I haven't gone against the grain, because we create the grain, where we actually will discuss it and plan the best way forward. So I'm going to say no. I'm going to say no to that.
So what was the first job ever that taught you that you learnt from and stuck in your brain to this day? What's the sort of first job that etched in your mind?
Well, I remember we spoke that I used to work for my father. This was before I left school, and he had his own finishing company in Birmingham, and I stood the same run the folders. So they used to get me a box because I was about 14 years old. I used to stand on a box and feed the hoppers and that type of thing. And I remember turning around to my father and saying, I'm not going to do this. Well, 30 odd years later, here I am. But I spent, so at school, I trained as a chef.
Oh, really?
Yes, this was in Stratford-upon-Avon. I went to Stratford College, and I was a chef for about 5 years.
Interesting.
And I went from a la carte through to working at hospital kitchen. In the hospital kitchen, my first job in the morning was 8 gallons of porridge every morning. That was your first job. Mm-hmm. But I do remember really being sort of green, and my chef saying to me, "John, could you go and get some parsley from the patio?" And I said, "What does it look like?" She says, "Well, it's in a pot." So I said, "Okay." So I went out to the patio, had a look around. I thought, I can't find it. So I just picked up the nearest plant. And she walks and said, "No, John, that's a geranium." So I did manage to learn my herbs. But a geranium is certainly not something that should be
not too tasty. Probably wouldn't kill you, but not very good to eat.
No.
So I know you manage, and over the years you've managed a lot of people. So what would you say was more important, clarity or empathy when managing people?
Clarity, absolutely clarity. Because if you know the situation and you're clear on the situation, you can be empathetic, I think it's very difficult the other way around. So I think once you've got a clear understanding of the situation, then you can be empathetic and help people through. So yeah, I think that's the right answer.
A lot of people. Okay, thank you for that. A lot of people think that print is dead. All right. What's your view on that? Given that we're, the digital world that we're now living in, and it's increasing that way. So do you think print's dead?
No, not at all. We're actually talking to a company at the moment called People of Print, and they support talented young artists and printmakers, and they've got some T-shirts out at the moment which say "Print's not dead." Go and have a look at their website, People of Print. They're fantastic. But for me, it is people, it is ideas, and it's substrates. So I think that's why it's not dead. Cupround is a great example of that. And I'm going to do some shameless sort of product placement here. Look, this is our Cupround box, which is made from recycled coffee cups, single-use cups. That's supplied through Croppers and GF Smith. But looking at our box there, it's a creative design. It's got creative print on it, and it's supporting a scheme of getting fibres back for recycling that then we can create into packaging. So that's a good idea. I think the substrates is what makes it interesting as well. It's really a point of difference that when you say to people, this is made from single-use cups, they're like, oh, wow. And also the people that help bring that together. All the team at Epic have helped support this, but there's a couple there. Ellis, who is, he does our product and graphic design. He's done a fantastic job. And also Alana, who does our social media, and she keeps us very, very organized, but she's got very fresh ideas. She's very creative as well. Ellis and Alana represent a cross-section of our print trade in terms of age gap. And I think that mix of age, experience, and fresh ideas is what keeps it going. Not only for a project, but also for the industry as well.
What would you say that your team say about you behind your back?
Oh, probably lots. Probably lots. So
what do you hope they say?
What do I hope they say? I always take a consultative approach. I think I've mentioned that before. So when we are looking to get a job through, we do some really technical stuff at Epic. No 2 days are the same. And I think you need to have your team's buy-in, which will give them ownership and confidence in the job that they're going to do. So I hope that they'll know that I can make good decisions. I'll include them, and just give that confidence, I think. So yeah, I'm hoping they'll say that I'm very inclusive.
If you could have a conversation with your younger self, what would your advice be?
This one's very, very simple. Less partying, more study. I'm not going to embellish on that.
I don't believe you. I don't believe you. I don't believe you. I think that's not true.
I think there's a lot of partying, and it's when you meet your future partner and you start having a family, that's when your attitude changes to work and life. And I'm quite fortunate that I met Sarah when I was quite young.
So what do you do then to wind down and chill out? Chill out.
Walk or run. Yes.
Yeah, I see lots of photographs of you running. So do you compete?
No, I don't compete. No, I think I compete against myself It's I've just finished my 150th park run.
Wow.
Did that last weekend. I do like running. It's a way to de-stress, but also walking as well. I lead walks and treks for our local hospice.
Cool.
And they're called Weldmar Hospice, and obviously based in Dorchester. But what I do is get people together before they go on overseas treks.
Very good.
What we do, that gives them a chance to meet each other before they go away, and also help build their fitness. And we're quite lucky here. We're on the Jurassic Coast, and I saw your interview with Sean. She's also on the Jurassic Coast, isn't she?
She has a place down there, yeah.
Yeah. And we're so fortunate to have lots of hills and lots of lovely countryside. In fact, the hills are massive, and we were training for the Three Peaks Challenge, and there's nothing on the Three Peaks that is steeper than the Dorset Hills.
Wow.
So it is quite a challenging environment, but it's great and I love it. So that's what I do to wind down is get out into the fresh air.
So tell us something about you, John, that's extraordinary.
That's extraordinary.
Extraordinary.
Extraordinary. So not only do I lead treks in this country, I've also helped lead treks abroad. So I've climbed Kilimanjaro. I've done the Sahara Desert twice and only got lost once. That was quite a scary evening, but perhaps we'll come back to that. So
tell me over a beer.
Yeah, I also used to volunteer for Dorset Search and Rescue.
Oh, cool. That's
so again,
good.
I like walking, so I thought I'd do something useful with it. But again, that stopped at COVID because really it was needed at work and all that type of thing. But Dorset Search and Rescue was a lot of fun. I remember leading a search on the Dorset coast during a hurricane. And down by the sea, the noise was absolutely astounding. It was fantastic.
Wow.
So yeah, that was something that I like to do, which I thought would be useful as well. So
what's the most memorable place you've visited?
Memorable place I visited? Well, probably as a holiday, and I think that was very recent. That was Rome.
Okay, right.
So, myself and my wife went last October, and that was the first holiday we had without the kids. So my youngest is 18, so that was the first holiday we had together away, for 18 years.
And where or what in Rome was the highlight?
I think it was just the two of us, which was very nice, and it showed that even after all these years, we still liked each other.
Helpful.
But every corner you go around, there's something else to see. Every corner, and whether you're on the Spanish Steps, whether you're at the Vatican or through the Vatican museums, it was just fabulous.
My first holiday abroad with my wife was to Vatican City.
Was it?
I booked a hotel online, and it turned out to be probably monks or nun quarters. We've never slept in a bed that was so hard. Fortunately, we didn't spend much time in the hotel room. We spent most of our time walking.
Yeah. Well, that's it. Well, that's the other thing I like about Rome. It is a walking holiday, isn't it?
It is.
And we were doing lots of miles per day. So it was a good way of getting my wife to join me on a walk without actually realising it is a walking holiday.
Yeah. So, that's fantastic. And my last question, what book or movie or both has had the biggest impact on your life?
I don't think there isn't a particular book, but I like books about challenge. And I think it was the one I've just finished recently was Race to the Pole, James Cracknell and Ben Fogle.
Yeah.
And Ben Fogle, you'll see him on TV, and he looks you think you can't take him seriously, but actually he's quite a serious and adventurer. Really, the type of things he's done is absolutely fantastic.
And a keen environmentalist as well, isn't he?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think in terms of books, anything about challenges, it inspires me to get out there, really.
And favourite movie?
Favourite movie, I'm going to admit it's going to be the Marvel series.
Oh, right. You're a bit of a Marvel fan, are you?
Yeah, it takes back to sort of childhood and that type of thing. But yeah, it's good. I always like to be cooking the Sunday lunch and have a Marvel movie just playing in the background.
Very good. Oh, well, wonderful. John, it's lovely to hear you talking about your life. Thank you so much. I feel thoroughly privileged to, first of all, listen to you, but also to know you. I know you've been struggling with your health recently, and I wish you all the best with that.
Thank you, Ian.
You're looking fine fettle, I must say.
Thank you very much.
Let's catch up and have a proper beer, pie and a pint.
Yeah.
Maybe a Hall and Woodhouse Badger's beer or something soon.
That was very good to me.
But thanks for giving up your time.
Right. Thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure.
See you soon.
Thank you, Ian.